It started with what seemed like an innocent request, a simple conversation, a casual suggestion. And then suddenly, my body, my identity, had become someone else's battleground. I'm 18 years old. My natural hair is red. Not from a bottle, not from a salon. It's the hair I was born with, the hair I've had my whole life, the hair I've grown to love. People notice it. They comment on it. And for as long as I can remember, it's been part of how I see myself. My future sister-in-law, Liz, is 27. When I met her, she was a blonde. But somewhere along the way, she started dyeing her hair almost exactly my shade of red. I never said anything. I didn't own the color, and I didn't feel threatened by it. It was odd, maybe, but she could do whatever she wanted with her hair. That's her right. But this week, she came to me with a request. Actually, it wasn't a request. It was more like an instruction wrapped in polite words. She told me she wanted me to dye my hair to any color except red for her wedding day. She said she wanted her hair to be unique, to stand out. She even offered to pay for it. I didn't hesitate. I said no. It's my hair. I don't want it changed. I don't want to damage it with bleach or dye. I don't want to go through months, maybe years, of growing it back to its natural color. And most importantly, I shouldn't have to alter my body for anyone's wedding. I told my brother. He didn't take her side. In fact, he said I should do whatever I wanted. It's my hair. He even said he'd talk to Liz to get her to back off. But when that conversation failed, Liz went to my parents. And to my shock, they took her side. They told me it was her special day, that I should be more accommodating, that my cooperation was important for our future relationship. They told me I should be the bigger person. And that's when the anger hit. Why is the 18-year-old expected to be the bigger person compared to the 27-year-old bride-to-be? Why is my body the thing that has to change to keep the peace? They called it a minor issue. But it didn't feel minor. It felt like they were telling me that my boundaries, my autonomy, didn't matter as much as her comfort. I thought about what would actually happen if I did what they wanted. Everyone at the wedding, family, friends, people who've known me for years, would see that my hair was suddenly a different color. They'd ask why. And I'd have two options: lie to protect Liz's feelings, or tell the truth and deal with her fury anyway. And deep down, I knew this wasn't just about hair. This was about control. If I gave in here, where would it stop? The tension in the family started to build. Conversations turned sharp. My parents kept repeating the same phrases. It's just one day. And it's her wedding? But they weren't hearing me when I said, it's not just one day for me. I would have to live with the consequences long after the flowers wilted and the cake was gone. Liz, for her part, didn't back down. She'd already gone over my head once. Who's to say she wouldn't keep pushing until she got her way? And I couldn't shake the irony. She was the one who had chosen to copy my hair color in the first place, and now she wanted me to erase mine so she could feel special. It was absurd, and yet it was happening. At one point, I considered the compromises people kept throwing at me: a wig, an updo, something temporary that wouldn't damage my hair. But every suggestion felt like it was missing the point. The problem wasn't the logistics. The problem was the entitlement. The escalation was relentless. My parents started framing it as if I was the one causing drama, that I was making this a bigger problem than it needed to be. But the truth was, I had already given my answer. No. And instead of respecting that, they kept trying to wear me down. The turning point came when I realized I wasn't just defending my hair. I was defending the principle that my body is mine. If I let someone, anyone, dictate changes to it for their convenience, I'd be setting a dangerous precedent for every relationship in my life. And so I held my ground. The fallout wasn't pretty. My parents were disappointed. Liz was furious. I became the villain in a story where all I'd done was say no to an unreasonable request. The atmosphere at family gatherings shifted. Conversations felt colder, shorter. I kept replaying it in my head, wondering if I should have just gone along to avoid the conflict. But every time I imagined it, I felt the same knot in my stomach. The cost wasn't worth it. And now, here I am, asking the question, am I the asshole for refusing to dye my hair for my future sister-in-law's wedding? Because from where I stand, this isn't about being difficult. It's about saying no when someone asks you to cross your own boundaries. It's about the right to love yourself exactly as you are, even if that means upsetting people who think your body is negotiable. So, am I the asshole? This isn't just a story about a wedding. It's a story about autonomy and how quickly people can expect you to compromise it for the sake of keeping the peace. There's a dangerous little phrase that gets thrown around in situations like this. Be the bigger person. On the surface, it sounds noble, but too often, it's a way of telling someone to surrender their boundaries so everyone else can avoid discomfort. The truth is, being the bigger person doesn't mean sacrificing yourself to make others happy. Sometimes, it means holding the line when everyone is pushing you to let it go. Sometimes, it means risking their approval so you can live with yourself tomorrow. So I'll ask you, if it were you, if it were your hair, your body, your choice, would you have given in? Or would you have said no and meant it?